All right, everyone, I have a video for you for Nvidia, some bullishness, maybe even an all-time high. And then also I want to talk quantum stocks a little bit in terms of the companies and what I plan to do about it moving forward from here. And I think that you're going to find a lot of value between what I have to say and what I have to show you. And if you guys want to see continued value, you guys can find it through the link down in the description for the Discord. Click on it, sign up for the earner tier. You're going to save 50% when you use the code word doctor on that first month sign up. And I'll show you reasons in this video why it's a place that you want to hang out. We'll talk more about it later. In the meantime, I do want to get into the Nvidia chart. I'm also going to recap some of the indices real quick. And then also we're going to jump into the top 5 quantum stocks that I have for you, pretty much in order in which I like them, and I'll give commentary on what I plan to do about them. So without further ado, let's jump into this. For the markets, we'll see we're about 12 minutes away from CPI as I record this. We could see new all-time highs coming in for the NASDAQ 100, which for QQQ, which tracks it, this ETF right here, 540.01, and we closed yesterday about 1% or so shy from that all-time high. And when we look at SPY, pretty much the same thing there. If we sell off, we do have gaps to fill, by the way, down near the 200-day, which can be shown if we put up the simple moving averages. We are still up above the 20-day. We could revert to the mean of the 20-day as well. That'd be a typical thing. So it really depends on what we get. I don't expect anything surprising. I'm hoping it comes out bullish, that we don't really see anything surprisingly to the highest side. So at consensus or below. This is not a video on CPI though. Move over to IWM, which has been outperforming the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones this morning. Also, let me check and see if it's still the case, but it was outperforming as well. According to the futures that we have. Okay, so it's about even right now with NASDAQ 100. They're all pretty much about even, but like I said, we're getting close to that CPI time. We'll see, but you can see this inverse head and shoulders that's on here on the screen in front of your face. And for that one, if we just shrink this up a little bit for you, you can see my price target on that is 240.08, and I have the resistances along the way that you can expect to find. And if you're looking at these going across your screen here, these trend lines that you see, that's part of, I think, 15 or 17 year bullish channel that we happen to find ourselves in. And we come to life down below the green, we die above the red. Now, mind you, that would push us up above the red if we find ourselves there, and we could take that rocket ship up. And I do want to say for right now that we're up above all the EMAs that I have on here, the 5, the 13, and the 50, and they're stacked in the bullish order that you would want to see. And then if we put up the simple moving averages that we have on here, we are contending with that 200-day, trying to return back to bullishness for those Russell 2000 stocks. Go watch my video from last night to get more detail on the indices, including IWM, which tracks the Russell 2000 stocks. Those small caps do have a very good chance of outperforming the S&P and the NASDAQ under the right conditions. Now for Nvidia. Nvidia happens to find itself in a rising wedge pattern, which can be a bearish reversal pattern. We want to watch for it, but also we still have a lot of time here. This points up into, if we stay inside that rising wedge pattern, this right here at 153.11 is the all-time high for regular trading hours for Nvidia stock price. And we actually have the technicals right now. If we drop down to the 4-hour chart that show that we have the symmetric triangle pattern building in here right now, and you can see this distance that we have from top to bottom. Let me turn off the magnet, and we're going to snag this right here. And if we just go, we'll go to this part right here of it and click and shift and clack, copy, paste. Oop, that was the wrong thing. Copy. There we go. Now paste. Now we got it. And we're just going to grab that trend line that I just put on there. If I can squeeze on it, there we go. I'm not very coordinated, so bear with me here. We'll drag this over here to this part, and that actually points us up to about 155. So if we catch ourselves in continued bullishness, we could put on another $10 or $12 onto Nvidia's price, which isn't so bad, especially considering that that brings that all-time high scenario. And then also I have by the end of December 2025, as long as we can fill out that demand side of things, for Nvidia, and where there's a good chance that we do, we can still hit that 160 to 170 range if we continue, like I said, in a bullish direction. That doesn't mean we go straight there. We can have our dips and downturns in between. That can most definitely happen. And when I talk about quantum stocks, I'll tell you when I put out my videos for those. I think it was May 2nd and May 5th. And then you can watch the price action that followed it. And I'll tell you some of the things that I did along the way. I'll tell you the orders in which I like the companies as they have their development out right now. And then I'm doing my research on those to really find out where I think the most promise is. And that is in the very early stages. But I think right now is the time to do it while the prices are up. because I do think that there will be that time that they come back down. So by the way, my commentary over at the Discord, make sure you check it out. I'm just one of the panel experts over there. Back into the charts on this. So there's Nvidia, 10 or 12 bucks to the upside if we can break over 144. So when we go over to the quantum stocks, IONQ, I really do like IONQ. I think that they are a business that's going to fill out over time, but while they're at these rich valuations, according to what they have coming in for their revenue, and especially where it comes to profitability, I think that these are all pre-profit companies, which is great. So you want to find the promising ones that are pre-profit, because as they start to flip that script, as they show that trend towards profitability, you can really track them. So in terms of profitability, it would go along with the promise here. Now, drilling down to May 2nd, when I put up my video to say something was happening, that was right here, where we had about a 13% day on IONQ, and the price was all the way down. We see the closing price on this was about $31, and this thing peaked out recently at $49. So that is an $18 gain on top of that. So that's over 50% climb that we saw happening during that time. I did make some moves. I did make some cash, but I didn't hang around because they were trades and I didn't know exactly how this was going to go. I did miss the big rip on May 22nd, but that's a hard one to anticipate when what you have happening. These are very much momentum-based, news-based stocks and plays at this point in time, which as the momentum dies, as the excitement dies, as the valuations exceed what the companies are currently performing for, you should have some settling that happens. And what I'm looking for is to find myself in the best position, knowledge-wise, research-wise, to make the best pick as those valuations come back down, as I believe they will. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think that I am. And that's why I want to continue to put the research out now, and why I'm not really taking a long-term position on any of them yet, but I do want to be ready for that long-term position, which means that I have cash ready to go, because I don't want to use debt for those long-term holds, for those investments. And also, I want to make sure that I get as good a price as I'm going to get on them. So for IONQ, this is one of them, absolutely at the top of the list. QUBT, Quantum Computing Inc. This is another one. Man, this thing's just ripping up right now. I'm hoping that I get another shot at snagging this below $10 or near $10. I think that this could be one of those big performers over time. This is a photonic-based quantum computing company that works at room temperature. And honestly, that's huge, because a lot of the other quantum computers, what they're talking about, and mind you, I looked at the different types of quantum computing, and man, there's a ton, and there's so many words out there. Now, my doctorate is in education. I happen to be nerdy about computing, about science, about mathematics. My training is in mathematics. And so between the training in mathematics, the career in education that I have, I'm a very big lifelong and self-learner. For me, it's going to be a lot of reading, and I'm going to hopefully spare you guys that task, that whole TLDR, if you will. Too long didn't read. And like I said, I'm at the very beginning of that. And I think that now's a good time to check it out, which would have been better a couple of years ago. However, as the technologies mature, as they start to show more promise, and while we're still in that momentum-driven state right now, in that excitement-based state for these sharp price spikes that we get, I want to watch for the next time that it really, really dies and it really bottoms out and hits the floor, and I pick up some basement prices, some bargain bin prices, if you will. So for the photonic side of things, working at room temperature, the other companies that are out there have to work near absolute zero temperatures, which means that we have the lowest energy state possible to try and just stabilize things. The photonic side of things, now mind you, they all have their advantages and disadvantages, and they're all different areas of promise, so there's not necessarily a single winner here, but this, at least as far as publicly traded companies goes, has a lot of promise at its back already, and it's one of the reasons why it's near the top of the list. So let me put this back up here for you. This one, up about 10% in the pre-market as I talk about it. It's like 826 right now, so we're nearing that CPI time. We'll see what we get from it. I absolutely do not want to buy this for myself when it's at all-time highs. This is not financial advice. I speak for myself. I will share information with you. I'll share ideas with you. It's up to you to pull the trigger, to make the decisions where you're going to make them, and to inform yourself and make sure that it's the best information that you have. I'm one perspective. I hope that I'm a really good perspective, but you should absolutely shop around in the knowledge sphere of things to find out what it is that you actually do like best and what you actually think is really worth it. Resides, another one. This one, Nvidia backed. They're going to have money being able to be thrown at them for R&D. As a matter of fact, that means that Nvidia did their research. And I believe that partnership with them came back all the way back in 2022. You might want to fact check that one. As I said, I'm very early in my research, but I think that this is one that we're going to get that push over time. And once again, I don't want it while the prices are elevated. What I want to see is hopefully that we drop back down through the floor on this. Maybe it's on overall market weakness. Maybe it's just quantum stock weakness. But once again, as I spread out my chips, sort of like playing roulette or something like that, I want to play a little bit on red, a little bit on black, and I also want to play odds, evens, you name it, that I want to set myself in an advantageous way where I don't have too much exposure in quantum in general, but also that I have that exposure spread out, because I do think that when we find those true outperformers, as I think that some of these could be, especially the top three that I've already done, IONQ, QUBT, and then RGTI are the ticker symbols. I absolutely want to make sure that I have exposure to some of them, but I want to make sure that I have it for the right price. And I don't want to be left bag holding and waiting because I bought it when it was at an elevated price. So Rigetti's another one that I'm absolutely looking at. So far, it's near the top. The Nvidia investment means that they also believe in the technology, and it's a hybrid technology where we have classical computing along with quantum computing, trying to find the best of both worlds. And that could be a very near-term winner, by the way. Even if it isn't necessarily the long-term winner, that near-term idea where we're spanning that gap. And I should point out that even the scientists don't really necessarily know exactly how to apply all the aspects of quantum computing to really get the full commercial benefits from it, alongside the fact that they're still trying to refine the technology and really trying to make it the most effective that it can be. So right now they're fighting the battle of effectiveness, and then they're also fighting the battle of, okay, commercial viability, commercialization. And so while we have those two things going for it, it does make it very risky and very speculative, which is why I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket and just go YOLO on things like this. D-Wave Quantum, again, on this list, I think that it's very, very good. While we're near a double top on this, man, I want this one to drop to the floor. So that way we can pick it up in a really nice reduced level. Honestly, if we go back and look at these technical levels that we got before all that hype, what does that take us back to? That takes us back to about $3. Or man, if we had those really bargain basement prices, that things really went sideways for quantum through one means or another, I don't know that we're going to see it back to where it was. But if we did, I would absolutely love to scoop this thing up under $5 per share. So the last one, QSI, still in penny stock pricing territory, being down below $5 per share. But then again, some of these others can push themselves back down to those levels as well. QUBT was down below $5 not so long ago. Let me see, where's the last time it was below $5? The $5 mark's right about there. That takes us all the way back to November-ish of 2024. And we've been riding those waves, those coattails of excitement. Jensen Huang coming out and talking about the next, that quantum computing being at an inflection point. Maybe it is. And if we're in that inflection point for the technology, maybe that next thing is commercial viability that really starts to come through. So D-Wave Quantum, QBTS, is absolutely, should be at the list. It is showing a little bit of bearish divergence, if you will, as we have the bottoms of those prices come up. And then we also have the momentum dropping on this thing. Maybe this thing comes back, and we have a triple top that we faced before that we actually ended up breaking through, and that ended up being massively bullish for it, right just south of $12 per share. So absolutely down below that price. I would love to see it back down around $5 per share myself before I start speculating into it. QSI is the last one, and this one had a little bit of a pop. This is my best penny stocks to buy now, by the way. So this one is still showing early signs that can move along with it. It is not necessarily taking all the same rise as what we had for some of the other stocks that are out there. And that could be for a number of reasons. This could be the least developed of the technologies. It could be one of the companies that has the worst balance sheets. There could be a lot of reasons why it hasn't moved to where it should necessarily move. And we did take advantage of this big movement that we had over this time with QSI when I talked about the best penny stocks to buy now. And I think that this was either my 100% gainer or my 150% gainer. I'd have to go back and look at the plays that I did on this one while we captured that upside for it. And it isn't necessarily done. Look at that very beautiful rounded bottom that we have on here. Got to be careful what I say because this is a G-rated channel, if you will. So very, very nice look on this. Could be setting up to push up higher, but it is going to be very sensitive to what we have in the rest of the quantum space. Even in the pre-market hours, it's the least of the performers. The best performer right now in pre-market as I record this, about 11% for QUBT, 7% for Rigetti. We have about 5% for IONQ, and then QBTS 3.48, and then coming in last place at the moment right now, a little over 1% is QSI. So guys, in the description, you will find, and I will share the research that I find over there, and any positions that I take, I will also post over at the Discord. I'm one of the panel experts over there sharing my thoughts, my perspectives, my technicals, my buys and sells, you name it, it's over there at the Discord. But it's not just what the experts think. There's also tools over there such as the bread bot, which can tell you when the big moves are going to occur up or down on your favorite stocks, cryptos, you name it. And then there's also advanced charting tools, AI tools that are over there, a community of thousands of people already who are members of that and absolutely love being over there. I love being over there with them because they are just incredible people. We're all supporting each other towards financial freedom, towards building alpha in our portfolios. And I'll tell you what, those opportunities are absolutely seemingly endless. So you should check those out. Like I said, code word doctor, when you sign up for the earner tier, it's going to get you unrestricted access to everything that the Discord has to offer to its community members. And if you guys want to know the impact of these technicals or fundamentals that I talk about in this channel, you guys should check out the coursework down in the description for technical analysis trading using the bread recipe, and then also the options course over there, which can very easily allow you to trade up or down. If you think something's going to drop massively or rise massively, options can be a great way to really outsize your gains. And now, mind you, there's other things that you can do with options that are more advanced, but if you're starting that coursework, you're probably just learning about options in the first place. But if you do have more advanced and technical questions about options, there are several of us over there that do options trading all the time. I am one of them. You can talk with us. You can ask your questions. You can find out that nuance. Those courses have their very own Discord with that learning community where you can go and ask those questions as well and get that support to really help yourself build an understanding of what exactly is going on. Code word doctor is going to work for those courses as well. They were developed by Stock Mo and Mrs. Mo, and they are people who are personal friends of mine. Stock Mo himself is like a brother to me. I've known him for the past 17 years. I have my doctorate in education. I vetted these courses that he put out, and they are absolutely the best that I've ever seen in terms of being the smallest, easiest to digest pieces, where they really put in plain ways how to understand the impact of the different technicals that are out there and how to use options to take full advantage of the market movements. And guys, code word doctor gets you them cheaper. Also, if you bundle the courses, that's where you're going to get that maximum savings with that code word discount as well. Link is in the description for that. Let me know what you think about the quantum stocks. Out of those 5 that I've mentioned, are any of them your favorites? Are there any that I haven't mentioned that are publicly traded that you didn't find on this list? Let me know down in the comments. And then also, what about Nvidia? Do you think Nvidia is going to hit all-time highs? Is the market going to hit all-time highs? Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, hit me up over in the Discord. I'd love to see you over there. Links in the description. Grab those courses to really support yourself in your financial journey, and let us support you as well in that process. Thanks for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. I'll see you next video.